All right, hello everybody and welcome to the Nature Journal show. Today I'm here with Fernando Gomez Baptista and he's one of the keynote speakers at the Wild Wonder Nature Journaling Conference 2024. In this conversation, we'll get a perspective of his work as an artist at National Geographic, how his creative process works, hopefully, and most importantly, I'm very curious to learn about how we can apply aspects of infographics to our nature journaling. Welcome to the show, Fernando.
Yeah. Hello, Marley. Thank you for the invitation. It's really a pleasure to be with all of you, and I will try my best.
Great. Okay, let's maybe I'll show people who aren't familiar with your work. I'm going to put this up on screen, a couple examples. I know I had some of these posters even on my wall for a while, like the Amazonia one was, and then I didn't even realize that was your work until I started doing a little bit of research about you. So you folks who are watching can see these are probably some things, some posters from National Geographic magazines that you might have even seen. This is all stuff that Fernando has worked on. And then a little tidbit, sort of a little sample of your workspace and some of the different tools and all of that you use. So just to give people a perspective and a reminder in case you haven't Googled Fernando yet. So let's start talking first of all about infographics, and about one thing I'm curious about is do you learn more about these subject matters when you have to create an infographic for them?
Yeah, I think that in some point, when you are working in a graphic and when you finish the graphic, you are like a little bit expert, no? So because during 1 month and a half, 2 months, you are totally focusing one story. Can be octopus, can be Amazon, can be biking, depend of the story, and you learn a lot, and sometimes work with the expert very directly. Sometimes I travel to the places. So yeah. So it's one of the fascinating things of the graphic is you need to be a journalist because you need to study the topic. You need to be an artist because you need to draw the topic, and you need to be a designer too because you need to design everything. No, so
Yeah. Okay, so that leads me to my next question, which is a lot of times as nature journalers, our main goal is the learning part, and less about the maybe communicating with the graphics that we make inside of our journals and our sketches. So I'm curious, like, how aspects of creating an infographic can contribute. So like for someone whose main goal isn't to create an infographic to communicate the information, how can making those designs and drawings themselves help them learn?
yeah, usually with the graphic, what my first role is try to find the concept of the graphic. No, imagine if they assign me the story. One of my last story was about the octopus. No, so I need to first thing find the topic of the graphic. No, the concept of the graphic.
Right.
I'm going to talk about how smart they are. I'm going to talk about the species, about the camouflage. Sometimes when you are an infographic artist, the first thing is find the concept, focus in something that visually have a story. No, and that is my first role. No, so when I have this kind of, I think that concept is when I start to sketch the design of the pages, and working with the designers. Can be 4 pages, can be 8 pages, 6 pages. So that is the next step. No, so I work usually with a researcher. Sometimes depend of the story. If it's a big story, can be 2 or 3 researchers, and the researcher are the connection between my work and the experts. So they find the best expert in the topic, and we have some meetings with them. We share, we would like to do this and that, and during all the process to produce a graphic, usually I'm working with 2 or 3 graphics at the same time, and from the beginning to the end, you have around 3 months. And we work very close with the expert. No, they check everything. No, so yeah.
Cool. So it sounds like very important part of your job is deciding what the concept is.
Yeah. So I think it's this kind of big idea. No, so this kind of concept in the graphic is is the first thing that you need to know. No, so what is which story you would like to tell? No, about, for example, the Amazon. No, when I was assigned to the Amazon, the Amazon is huge. There are a lot of species there, but which part of the story I would like to tell, no? And it's when I start to read. Sometimes when I'm assigned to a story, I start to work with the story team. That there are the photographer, text editors, people from social media, and between all of us, we decide a little bit the direction of the story, and we need after that we need to sell the story to the executive team, no? And it's when you talk with the people and you know a little bit the direction of the story is when you find the concept of the graphic, no? And you need to sell. I need to sell first to the story team. I think that we can tell this part about how smart are the octopus or the rainforest in the Amazon, no? That there are three kinds of rainforest, no? And usually I try to find concept that first thing they are difficult to show in photos, no? So the photos cannot do the job. So and text the same, no? It's very difficult to explain. And my goal is always, try to find this kind of in a graphic I can create a cross section or explain a process, so organize the information. That's something that the readers can understand something complicated in a easy way, no? So
cool. Maybe you could talk. There's some questions here from the audience. One of them is about deciding what to focus on, and I know that you've mentioned in some of your talks sort of how important it is to simplify things. Could you talk about how you decide, what, especially with something like the Amazon rainforest, it's very complex in the infographic. How is your process around simplifying?
Yeah, usually all start with this, no? So the sketch, no? So I start to sketch the concept of the graphic, and I make a list of the information that I'm working with the researcher. And we were thinking, well, maybe we can talk about the species of trees or species of how work the water system. Find and always. Initially, we have tons of information. Sometimes is like too much, no? And always we need to focus in something, no? And it's when you start to think, well, but this information connect very well with the visual that we have, and we can explain the cycle of the water, or this information about the composition of the water, or all kind of things. So we always try to make connection with the visual and the explanatory part, no, with the text, no, because at the end the graphic is a mix of illustration, try to create beautiful illustration, and explanatory things, no? So that you can explain with diagrams, a little bit of text with notes, labels, no? And this kind of connection is when you have a graphic, no? But sometimes, usually when I start the graphic are more complex that always I was thinking, this is too much. I think that I need to remove or no. So, and it's when you start to to kill parts, no? So this part is the most important, maybe not, no? So, and you remove it, no? So start to this kind of hierarchy, no? And from there, start to design the graphic too, no? Initially with paper and pencil, and later with the computer, no?
Nice. So you showed us a little tidbit of your sketches. Could you show some more sketches, or if you have anything that where you're starting to come up with ideas, or where you're looking at the research material or something like that?
Yeah, usually right now I just finished one project about the Amazon. This is my initial sketch, no? That will be the other direction.
Can I put it on solo layout here so we can there we go.
Yeah, is the Amazon predators.
Oh wow.
So from the canopy to the river, no?
Wow.
So, and this is the basic concept, no? And in the flaps I would like to show a little bit the biodiversity with some numbers and stuff, no? So this is the initial concept, no? And from there is when I was working with two researchers. One researcher was working about the biodiversity, Amanda Hobbs, and Lawson Parker. Start to work with this kind of. So we, at the end, in this project, we work probably with around 15 experts.
Wow.
So one expert was about the arapaima, another was about jaguar, another about the harpy eagle or the tarantula, another was general. No, so we have meetings with them. I produce the sketches, send the sketches to check everything, and and at the same time we need to write the text, no, about the which information, no. So yeah, this is a little bit the concept, no. Let me show you, for example. This is in actual size, no. So
Wow.
from this is the concept, right? This is the concept, no.
Yeah.
And this is the graphic in progress, no?
Wow. What a great topic. I mean, the top predators in the Amazon, it's a very great topics. That's very exciting. Okay, cool.
How I work in the other project in the Amazon, was like 8 or 9 years ago. And I went to the Amazon. I spent 1 week in the rainforest close to Manaus. And I met with two experts just to find the species of trees, see the look and feeling of the forest, and I saw a lot of animals and stuff, and caimans, and it's when I proposed to the executive team, maybe we can do something about the predators, no? So so from the harpy eagle to the at that time we had the bull shark too. That was another, so we have like a list of possible candidates, and the concept of the graphic. Well, maybe we can explain something about, how they can, how specialized they are for hunting, no? Or which kind of weapons they have, no? So if it's the teeth or no, so this kind of superpowers and weapons, no, and we make a selection, and the expert like it. So the experts, they thought, that is nice, no? So yeah.
I think people like predators, so it's a very it's an easy sell. It feels like, all of the coolest predators from the Amazon. It's a great concept. Okay, so we've got a question here from the audience that I think is worth asking you is, what's the most challenging aspect of your work for National Geographic, and what is the most rewarding?
I think that the most challenge, when you are assigned to one story, I think that the first goal is the concept, no? So, like, for example, the predators, no? And and after that, in my career, I was working here 70 years. I worked probably in around 150 projects or something like that. I drew from, my first project was about chimps, Fongoli chimps, to, Romans, Vikings, architect, Amazon, so geology. So go through, total different concept, no? And the first time that I drew a lion, I think that I spent, more than 1 week just learning about the anatomy, going to the zoo to see how they walk or how they, So that is the part that is very challenging, no? So that when you design the concept, after that you need to create the art, and the art is time consuming. I think that probably 70% of my time is, produce the art and, and work with the diagrams and stuff, no? So this kind of idea of simplify and organize, but, to be accurate is tricky. So that is the reason that I use models, and, I combine analog and digital. I work very close with the experts, and when I drew the female lion that you saw, and I sent to the expert told me, no, the shoulder is wrong, and we're like, oh, yeah, sorry. so there are a lot of back and forth with the expert, no? So and sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes you need to create stuff that didn't exist, no? So the tiger shark, that with a graphic about the tiger shark, and in Australia, a lab dissect for us a specimen just to give us visual reference, no? So it's, is when you are working, always there are some period of time that you think, this is not going well. This is, no. So, but little by little, you find the path, and you refine. Basically, is make mistakes and refine and experiment. I experiment a little bit, with the techniques and stuff. No, try to improve, the illustration. No.
And what about the most rewarding part that you find?
So I think that when first thing is the expert, we say happy expert, happy life, no? So we mention here, no? So if the expert, they like the graphic, you feel good, no? Because, one expert that, spend all his life, working with
something, exactly.
I like this, I know this is great, or that one is, you feel good, no? So, and that is the first contact, no? And another time is when, when sometimes the readers, no? For example, today, they put on the wall, I love the illustration about the octopus, no? And I feel proud, no? Because, so, when sometimes the readers tell you that, I learned a lot, and, so I think that part, not just that is beautiful for me, I try that the graphic looks beautiful, no? But at the same time, I try that people learn something, no? And when people told me, it's so interesting, it's so easy to read, or I really enjoy, you feel, well, we covered two parts, no? The first thing that is beautiful, and the second part that is the learning part, no? So
yeah. Let's talk more about the learning part before we go into sort of your process and everything, because I really want to keep bringing this back to nature journaling. So with nature journaling, our main focus is about learning. Like, they can, the nature journal pages can, like, you can share them later, or it could be like artistic, or it could help, teach someone about something. But really, I focus mostly on trying to get more people to nature journal, because I think the person that's doing it is the person that gets the most benefits. And it sounds like when you're doing these infographics, you are learning so much about it. And so I think what I want to ask you is, what are some aspects of like making infographics that you think people can use if their main goal is learning, and if they're maybe like in the field with minimal supplies? So say, you're in the Amazon rainforest near Manaus, and you're observing like the ecosystem and maybe some animals there. If you had a sketchbook and you just wanted to learn as much as possible about what you're observing, what aspects of infographics, or like what types of different diagrams or techniques do you think you would use?
Yeah, usually when I'm traveling to places, I was, 2 months ago, I was in Notre Dame in Paris, just to make a graphic about the cathedral, the restoration, and I met with the architect and stuff. Usually, when I met with the experts, I ask question about, how work this? No? For example, this one obsession, I think, for all the infographic is how the things work in the nature.
Yes.
All is designed in one way. No? Why this shark bite in this way, or why the octopus use this, this tool or whatever. No, so always is about process. No, so it's something that I always ask to the expert. And when I am on the field, sometimes with the experts, I like to sketch. Do you think that can be like this or can be like that? And the expert correct in the place. No, so I think it's the first step to create a graphic is, a sketch on the field, and from there I take videos, take photos, and when I come to the studio is when, I put together all the pieces, no? But yeah, gather the information with the expert is something that is pretty unique, no? So I was in the Amazon with 2 experts looking for the trees, or, he told me all detail about, this small ants or this species of this and that. So that is the first thing, no? So sometimes it's totally overwhelming because you have a lot, no? And
Yeah.
you come back and you need to focus in something, no?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's go into your process a little bit more now. You mentioned the idea that a good idea is a good graphic. How do you know what is a good idea, or how do you find the good ideas or concepts?
Yeah. Well, usually, if I say that a good idea is a good graphic, look like I have a good idea, no? So initially, so look like a little bit, no? So initially I have like a tons of ideas, no? So and one idea connect with another, and you see what this idea is not good, so forget about, and you go to another, no? So usually I have several ideas that I sketch, and little by little, you focus in one, and usually I like to check with the people in the department, no? So first to the graphic department, no, that we are like 4 or 5 people, and so what do you think about this? Do you have interest on this and that? Another time I go to for example, the copy editors or people that they are not really visual. So, or my wife, for example, my wife, she can be terrible. And how do you think about this? Do you think it is interesting or that? And so you check a little bit with the usual readers what they think about the topic, no?
Like feedback. You're getting feedback, it sounds
Yeah.
like, from different perspectives.
Yeah. So some kind of feedback. Usually I show, some kind like this kind of sketches, no? Very, very rough, no? About this, and it's when you can feel a little bit, oh wow, that can be great. Oh, that is very cool. Oh, this is super interesting. Oh, the predator. So, so, and that is basically the first idea, no? So
Okay, cool. What do you think about inspiration? Do you believe in inspiration?
yeah. Well, you are visual. I think that inspiration is everywhere, no? So for people are a big fan of comics, sci-fi, all kind of stuff that is not really connect directly with my work, no? So but if I'm watching a TV show and I love the credit, sometimes is you see, oh, I like this palette, or I like the light, or so I like the classic too, from Vermeer, Velázquez, so all kind of from paintings or art, all kind of artists, no? So I love sculpture too. So the inspiration is everywhere, no?
So it's not like something where you don't just like wait and it suddenly like it comes into your head and then you make it. It's like you're looking for it everywhere.
Yeah, I think that for me, I think all the time I'm looking for visual reference or reading books or in the web or TV or whatever, and I have very good visual memory, no? So and when I think in to create a graphic, and always when I have create this sketch, I imagine a little bit the technique or the palette, the light that I would like to use, no? So that is the next step, no? It's no, I try to add a little bit more of that kind of feeling to the graphic, no? So sometimes it's more, more simple, no? But another times, I like. Let me show you.
That's the octopus. Ooh, wow.
When I create this graphic of the octopus, I was imagining, wow, I imagine some kind of, dramatic light. Comparison with a human, and I start to split in pieces, no? So working with Lawson, secret of their bodies, secret of their defense, how they move, no?
Wow.
So you have, a lot of information. Every diagram needs to be checked for the expert.
Cool.
a human for comparison, percent of muscles, some element in actual size.
Wow. They're 90% muscle?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, wow. That's amazing. Okay,
Humans
so
is 40%. So
yeah. So it sounds like for you, it's really important to be always looking and like consuming a lot of art and visual information and sort of developing your ability to maybe we could call it like a library almost of visual textures, ideas, light and colors and stuff like that. So that leads me to my next question, which is what role does curiosity play in your process? It seems like, you know, you're experimenting with lots of materials, you have to learn about so many different things. Do you think does curiosity play a role for you, or how do you think about curiosity?
I think that the curiosity probably is the first thing that an infographic need to have. No, so is some people told me, but your graphics are like a simple concept, but are very interesting. No, so some people told me that you are like a kid that have this kind of curiosity about, why the giraffe had this long neck, or why the shark bite in this way, or why the pterosaurs can be huge. So this kind of, and sometimes, these initial simple questions I ask to the experts, and from there is when you create something a little bit more complex, no? But I think that, curiosity is the main thing, no? So, and from this kind of curiosity, when you know more, you can visualize, no, that kind of information, no?
Yeah. Okay. We talked a little bit about sketches and sort of an iteration. Iteration is one of my favorite words because I find that, especially like with a sketchbook, the more times we do something, we work through it, we can learn about it more. And you did talk about that already. So my next question is, what do you think about being a generalist versus a specialist? It seems like in some ways, when I speak with like science illustrators, a lot of times they are very specialized, and that helps them be precise. And I know precision is something that's important for National Geographic and for you. So, if we look through your work, there's buildings, there's animals, there's people, there's animation, there's sculpture. How do you consider yourself in terms of the spectrum of generalist to specialist, and how do you think about the benefits of those?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know if I have benefit, to draw a lot of things, but I really enjoy, So the worst part is sometimes, for example, as I mentioned, when I drew the female lion, I make some kind of mistakes initially in the anatomy. Probably if another illustrator start to go over there to draw that, he knows more than me. But I always, in National Geographic, I always have time to, to focus in something, no? So to learn in something, and that is the part that, I spend, maybe a week, 1 week, 2 weeks, just, learning about the anatomy, about the muscles, and at the end, little by little, you know more about the species, no? So let me show you.
Ooh.
So, and when I connect a sculpture with illustration, I think that I have some kind of advance with another person that don't have this knowledge, no?
Right.
This, because I can control, the anatomy, a lot of things that. So combine both techniques.
Yeah.
Help me to. This is a saber tooth that you saw, no? So, I think that with both things, no, analog, digital, sculpture, and 2D, I think that, it's something that, when I was a kid and I started to create models and stuff. One day I was drawing something and I have some kind of like a clay, and I make one sketch with the clay and I put in the light, and it's when I drew. And
Yeah.
that was the beginning of my way of working. That is not new. There are a lot of artists that create models and stuff, but give you some kind of, advance when you are drawing something, because if I can see something, you can draw easily because you know the volume, you know how to take measurement and how no, so how work the perspective or whatever, no.
Yeah.
But you don't have that one, you are a little bit more limited. But in my
Yeah.
case, I have over here.
Wow. Wow. So that's Sculpey
Yeah, super sculpey.
with wire and aluminum foil inside?
You have a little bit of wire over here, and I use dentist tools,
Yeah.
and I paint with acrylic, and you can see, so it's easy to draw this
Yeah.
when you have the reference, no.
You don't have to invent the makeup from your imagination, the shadows and the volumes.
And all star. Let me show you. For example,
Wow.
if I need to create a pterosaurs, this is my beginning.
Yeah.
The researcher, Mesa Schumacher, she worked with 3 experts just to get all the measurement reference, and this is the beginning, no?
Yeah.
And from this one, this is,
Wow. Yep.
so, and in the middle,
Wow.
you have some models that, but the beginning is this kind of, blueprint, no, with
Right.
all kind of, measurement. The humerus will be 30 centimeters or whatever, no.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of math and numbers and stuff in the illustration too, no. So
Yeah.
one, so that is a little bit the way, no. So
Cool. So it almost seems like you've created a niche where you are a generalist in some ways, but that makes you it makes you sort of specialized because there's not anyone else that's combining them in that way.
yeah, I think that, yeah, in some way I feel that working in with this kind of technique allow me to, to be allow me to create, from architect, ships, animals,
Hmm.
people. So I have, I drew, just to give you one day.
Yeah.
This is a cover that I create, no. So totally, totally different thing,
Right.
or
Is that Stonehenge?
yeah.
Wow.
And if you put the light, is you can.
Yeah, that's really fun for that one to do the light. Wow.
So the perspective of, is texture, and
Yeah.
so sometimes are simple and another times are. more
Is
complex.
that the one in Peru?
That one is a Mustang cave, a Mustang in Nepal.
Oh, okay.
It's a temple,
Wow.
and I create the cross section and a cross section in a house.
Wow, cool.
So,
Okay. This leads me to my next question, which Melian asked about style. So let's talk about style. And Melian asked, how do you balance scientific standards with your artistic style? And my question also is, it seems like you have a lot of different styles, like from the stop motion animation with the wrestling figurines and cotton ball clouds, showing the movement of the statues in Easter Island, and then the Sagrada Familia in like very precise perspective, the birds of paradise, and then like your Bilbao artist self-portrait city thing. It almost feels like you can do a lot of different styles. So what do you think? Maybe you could just share your thoughts about artistic style, and how you find it. Or
I think that one part that I enjoy is, when you have the concept, you have more or less the design that of the graphic. Always the next question is, well, during that kind of process that take time, you are always thinking, well, this can be more like a pencil sketchy styles, or can be more dramatic light, or the background will be white or will be dark, or and sometimes I feel that the style needs to help me a little bit to tell the story. So for example, if it's the Sagrada Familia that I did a illustration with, with vector, and I print and I drew on top, need to be a little bit more, more lines and more pencil, and so more technical. But for the octopus, I was thinking, look like the octopus, the light and the need to be more dramatic, So or one piece that I did about the sharks, So. And now I just finished another about the Andean bear, and it's more like a sketchy, style, So, and the palette is something that, for example, the palette, I try to connect a little bit the palette with the photos that there are in the story, So I always try to follow a little bit. Or, for example, the light, So the light is, some people don't know, your illustrations are very realistic, And yes, unrealistic, but I always am looking for a little bit this kind of simplify in some areas. Some areas are very finished, Other areas are a little bit more, maybe because I want to add movement, or I like some kind of hierarchy too in the, in my illustration, So, for example, some areas of the octopus are more finished, but maybe the tentacles, I play a lot with the atmosphere, and I studied fine arts in Spain, so my background came from painting, and I learned that kind of technique, and I try to apply a little bit to the graphic. Just sometimes it's just to separate for example, in this one, just to separate the different, elements.
So is some of this an acrylic painted background for this one?
Yeah, that one. Let me show you. For example, this one, for example,
Yeah. Wow.
acrylic sketches. Gesso, I have a layer of gesso,
Right.
and I start with pencil, and on top of the pencil with acrylic. But when I paint with acrylic, it's a little bit like a watercolor, So it's like, like a washing layers,
Right. Wow.
Let me show you. This is another sketch, that you can see a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of texture.
Yeah, that one is like a gesso. And another time, the thing that I do is when I'm more digital, I create a background with acrylic. I take a photo. If it's small, I can scan. I have a tablet scan, no? Or I scan in pieces. And so I put one layer with the background. I add my pencil illustration. I go to the Photoshop. I put in multiply the pencil, and I start to paint below. So my background with layers of a small opacity, I start to paint. And for example, and I can say that it's famous, but some people make jokes in the office because how many layers do you have in this graphic? And I have my record is 100 layers.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
And that with Stonehenge, because there was a complex different monument, and there was one village with 1,000 houses, so I need like a small
Yeah.
The Amazon was around 1,000 layers too.
Wow.
And allow me, I paint with a Wacom, and I combine this kind of background, pencil, sometimes layers with watercolor, but I have the control to to scale or make correction too, because
Right.
the expert using to the expert, and you need to change this, so this is, so I make another supplement I have over here.
Oh yeah.
That was some kind of a date of our pretty famous graphic of National Geographic. So this kind of poster.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, that's a complex. Wow.
And you have, tons of information. I will explain in the conference, no? But this is just the key with all the information. So all the species are in relative scale. That is something that I like to do too. So, and when I sent to the expert, I drew, I think around.
Wow.
Around with anatomical. That one, there were like around 4 researchers working for, and sometimes the information was totally new. So we are this bird, when they are migrate, they fly solitary, or they fly in group. What and sometimes let me ask. So there are no something that you go to one book or one.
Yeah.
So you need to to go to I don't know how many experts, no? So digging in the information and check the information with all the experts, and just to create something unique, no? So
yeah, for sure. Fernando, are you ready for the lightning round questions?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's gonna be the first ones are yes or no, and they're like fun, silly questions, and then there's some longer answer ones. So
yeah,
I should have made a little puppet, but I didn't. I was going to do that for the lightning round, but I do have this. It's not an amazing animation, but okay. All right. So, is coffee an essential art supply?
Wow. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Are you organized or messy?
I think a little bit messy, I think.
Okay. Did you make a lot of art when you were a child?
Wow. Yes.
Do you eat snacks while you're making art?
Yes.
Are you a perfectionist?
Yes, I think so. I try.
Plants or animals?
Animals.
Ink or graphite?
I think graphite.
When it comes to art supplies and tools, do you maximize or minimize?
I think I minimize. I can, I'm not very picky with the material. You give me a watercolor, give me, you give me a very good paper, oh, I feel nervous. So I prefer,
Okay.
so no, yeah.
Okay. Do you rather experiment or refine?
I think experiment is part of
Okay.
the process.
Okay. Rule breaker or rule maker?
A little bit of rule breaker, I think. Yeah.
Do you like the big picture or the micro?
I think that in infographics, probably you need to, to micro a little bit, no? So I feel, no? So it's part of our job, no? So
Would you rather go draw and make infographics on Mars or the deep sea?
I think deep sea. Yeah.
Fast? Do you work fast or slow?
I think fast.
Okay, and then what facial expression do you make when someone says, "You are so talented, I could never do that"?
I smile.
Okay, so these are the slightly longer ones. If you could have an artistic superpower, what superpower would you want to have?
Wow. I think that it's a difficult question. I love artists that, can, with a few strokes, can create something very, very refined, no? So this kind of simplicity, I think that is in the art, no? So I love that, no? So
Like communicating a lot of information with the least amount of line.
yeah, I think that, people that are, for them it's very easy to, sketch something, or, they modulate the line or the shadows or whatever, no? So that simple, no? So, but yeah, I'm more impressed with this kind of simplicity that people that can create something super realistic and, just little by little, no? So I think, I feel that the other part, at least for my technique, is more complicated, no? Simplify and,
If you had access to a time machine and you could go anywhere in time, where would you most want to go explore and create infographics?
I think that Renaissance, there's something there that,
Really?
there was, Renaissance.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can only bring 5 art supplies in the time machine. What 5 art supplies would you take with you to the Renaissance?
I think that,
I guess you'd be able to get some supplies there too, no?
yeah, they will have it, no? So I think probably watercolor, acrylic, and, a good brushes. I think that the brushes are good too. And, yeah, I think that this and maybe super Sculpey.
Okay. All right. And then which sci-fi or comic book character would be best at making infographics?
Well, so I am a big fan of Star Wars, no? So if
Okay.
I start to create models, is for Star Wars. Let me show you.
So which Star Wars character? Wow, yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so which Star Wars character would be able to make infographics the best? Like if they could have your job
I
or
think
be
Han Solo and try to explain the Millennium Falcon. In that, yeah, there are something there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, that's it for the lightning round. Great job in the lightning round. For people who are watching, put your answers of what your answers to the lightning round. Okay, we're almost out of time, but maybe we could talk a little bit about sort of beginners and a little bit like sometimes people look at other people's work, like yours maybe, and then they think, oh, like I can never do that, or people have self-doubt. And compare themselves to so many other artists. There's so many artists that we can find on Instagram. Do you have any thoughts or any recommendations for people who want to make art but they're struggling with self-doubt and comparison?
Yeah, I think that, when I start to create illustration and to work a little bit more professional, of course, you don't have the skills that I have now, no? So for me, I think all is accumulative, no? So I think that if you continue and you continue and you continue, I think that you will improve. When I moved over here in 2007, my technique, it wasn't the same that I have now, because I try different things, and sometimes I make mistakes and I try to correct. So I think that people don't need to know that it's not something that you wake up one day and you know everything. No, with each project you learn something. About light, you learn about volume, you learn, so I think that they need to be a little bit patient, and and continue pushing and learning, no? So, and trying new things, no? I think that is the goal, no? So,
and just trusting that the process and the learning.
Yeah, I think that with every project you learn something, no? So, for example, when we create animations, one day we were thinking, well, maybe we can do with paper. I never make a model with paper, but so, but I try. No? So I think that is the goal. Not try new things.
Yeah.
No. So too.
So does that? I was interested in that one where you made that decision to make something professional with something you had never done before. Does that require a certain type of like boldness or bravery to make choices like that, to try?
I think that how I make a lot of models and stuff, and I play a little bit with paper, and there are a lot of sculptors that work with paper. I was thinking, I think I can do something, maybe not the same kind of level that them, but something professional, some kind of level, no? So, and I'm very enthusiastic, no? So, and and basically I try, and when I start my first paper model, it wasn't the best, but a few days later, I knew more about the material, no, how work and so I think that is another part to the people that are starting. That one is super exciting, no? When you try something and you can feel that you are learning and you start to control that one, you feel good, no? So I think that this is another reason to try new things, no? So
yeah, I feel like that example is really helpful for people. I think that's very inspirational. All right, so my last question is, what do you think is the future of infographics? Do you think things are changing? Do you think artificial intelligence is going to make all of it? Or what direction do you see infographics going in the future?
I think that I want to think that the infographics, will continue to be popular, no? Because I think that people is a way that you can learn something very quick and in an easy way, no? I think that the only thing that, for example, for my experience in National Geographic, is we need to be more and more digital, no? So, I love to work for print, but I think that the future probably will be. I think I would like to think that we are going to create print graphics for museums or magazines or whatever. But the future, I think that we need to start to tell stories in a digital way. So the narrative is totally different. So, for example, for the octopus, we create a quiz about the octopus, no, for digital. So it will be animation. So this kind of experiment of tell stories in digital, I think that can be interesting, no? So artificial intelligence, I don't have interest on that. If I tell you. So I like to work with my hands, and so I don't have interest on that, no? So
Okay. All right, great. Well, I'm going to put your Instagram up for people who haven't. Definitely check out Fernando's work. And if you have National Geographic magazines lying around, you could probably find some of his work in there, or you can do a search online. And there's some video. People can find your animations and stuff as well on the National Geographic site.
Yeah, I think that we have a bunch of videos in YouTube. so that they are free. So so if you look for stop motion animation, National Geographic, so you will find some videos and behind the scenes, no, how we create animations and stuff, no. So and they are free, no. Another stuff is paywall, no, but there are some in YouTube.
Cool. Well, thank you so much again for making the time to be on the show. You were one of the most enthusiastic about scheduling. Some of the other people, it's like I email them so many times, and so I was very excited and honored that you emailed me and made it possible to be on the show. So thank you so much once again, Fernando.
The honor is mine. So thank you for thinking of my work, and a pleasure just to talk with you and the people. Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation.
All right, thanks everyone for joining the live. Bye.
Bye.